Hi, everyone. Good here Saturday night. Want to jump in, cover some more of this Kouri Richins murder case out in Utah. Want to cover a few more days of testimony here tonight. Just wrap it up. I want to highlight just some of the things that happened. We finished with day one yesterday. And so I want to cover day two. Day two started out with the deputy Vincent Wynn, that continued on cross-examination with Alex Ramos. And it wasn't quite as dramatic and sensational acting by the attorney. But as you recall, Deputy Wynn, he mentioned that that Kouri seemed to have, he couldn't describe her emotional reactions because he'd never seen her around before being emotional and whatnot. But in any event, we had that closed out finally. And then we had Margaret Offred. She was a EMT person, and she detailed the life-saving efforts that were made on Eric, as well as the substantial amount of blood coming out of his mouth during CPR. And then we heard from Dr. Lily Ulmer. She's a medical examiner. She confirmed the cause of death with fentanyl intoxication, and she noted Eric's system contained 5 times the lethal dose. And so 5 times, I mean, that's something that I think definitely points to somebody trying to take him out. So we have, we also had this issue that Eric's dad when he testified, he said that he heard from Kouri that Eric died from the similar thing that his mom had plus COVID. So Eric's mom had died of some kind of a fungus in the lungs kind of thing. And so she said that's what the medical examiner was telling her. So she relayed that on to Eric's dad. And then as it turns out, that was completely false. So when you have a murder defendant doing that kind of stuff behind the scenes after the fact, that kind of stuff really puts a bad picture in the minds of the jury, and they're going to see it for what it is, which is she's trying to orchestrate and manipulate things to try to keep herself out of the target of the law enforcement. But it's not working for her. Obviously, she's facing this trial now. We also had Allison Christensen testify to the handling and sealing of the toxicology samples to ensure no contamination. Then we heard from Chelsea Gibson, and she talked about all the physical evidence collected, including cell phones and prescription bottles. And then we had her continue on the next day, February 25th. So that's day 3. And they continued describing the evidence collection. And then there was an unforeseen emergency involving the judge. And so the testimony was cut short. So they really didn't have much to go on that day. So day 4, February 26th, that was forensics. We heard from Brian Holden, who was testified that 19 items were tested for fentanyl. None of the physical evidence from the home tested positive. And then we heard from a forensic expert, Into, who explained the process of extracting data from the iPhones using Cellbrite software. And then we also heard from this Carmen Lauber. She's the housekeeper and a key witness because she testified, and we'll hear some of that now. She testified as to her conveyance of drugs for Kouri. So we're going to get into some of that here right now. I think I'm going to do that right now. She starts out at 4:15. So let's go ahead. Almost there.
Have a seat. My apologies.
Yeah.
All right, folks, have a seat. Thank you. Mr. Bloodworth, the state's next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Carmen Lauber.
If you
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of perjury? Please have a seat.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Would you pull, you can sit wherever you're comfortable. If you would just pull the microphone closer to you, it's easier to move that than the chair. Yeah. We'll see if that's close enough.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Blevver.
What, ma'am, is your name?
Carmen Lauber.
Do you spell your last name Lauber?
Yes.
It's indelicate, but how old are you?
54.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a direct support intake. I work with people with disability.
Okay, ma'am, we're gonna have to get you to, hold on.
Just pull it to the edge of the.
Get it right up. Yeah, it's gonna be annoying to you.
Okay.
Push it back a little bit.
Just like, yeah, that's like,
Okay,
it's like right here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, again, please, what do you do for a living?
I'm a direct support intake. I work with people with disability and mental challenges and stuff.
Do you have a history of drug use?
Yes.
When did that history begin?
6th grade, I was smoking pot, and then it just varied up through junior high and high school.
How did it vary up?
Through cocaine, through pot, through mushrooms, LSD, acid, just drinking stuff through junior high and high school.
Did it continue into adulthood?
Yes.
For how long?
For quite most of my adulthood.
Have you ever sold drugs?
Yes.
Do you have a criminal history involving drugs?
Yes.
Does it involve drug possession?
Yes.
Does it involve drug distribution?
Yes.
Do you have felony convictions for drug distribution?
Yes.
Are you currently on a type of probation for drug distribution?
Yes.
And are you on a probation for a felony drug distribution?
Yes.
Is that probation in Wasatch County's drug court?
Yes.
What is drug court?
Drug court is where you go in, they give you the tools to rehabilitate yourself. They give you groups, personal therapy, one-on-one treatment. They give you random UAs. They have you complete an MRT book. Just tools to rehabilitate yourself.
She's coming across as pretty personable here, and they're trying to humanize her, getting her background with drugs and court convictions for not only possessing drugs, but dealing drugs. So they're getting that right out in front of the jury here. And you can sort of, in a way, also feel sorry for her, that this is the kind of life she had as a young child. She probably came from a very unstable home. And so this is a good thing to do, because the defense is going to try to make a big stink out of her background that she can't be trusted. So let's see how this pans out here.
When you say UAs, is that urinalysis testing
Yes.
to see if you're hot for drugs?
Yes, we would call in daily, and you would either have a number or a color. And if your color or number was called, you had to go to 5-minute clinic and do a UA.
And is the idea behind drug court that it's a rehabilitative program under court supervision?
Yes.
And that if you complete the rehabilitative part of the court supervision, there's some benefit to your pending charges?
Yes, it's a plea in advance.
Okay, and a plea in advance means it doesn't go down as a conviction.
It doesn't go on your record, yes.
Are you also pending charges in Wasatch County for marijuana possession and possession of a gun by a person who's prohibited from possessing a gun?
Yes.
Are you sober now?
Yes.
How long, ma'am, have you been sober?
A little over 4 years.
Is that the longest time in your life since 6th grade that you have been sober?
Absolutely. Except for the time I was pregnant. It's the only time I quit. And then I'd go back to being high. But yes, 4 years, a little 4 years.
Ms. Lauber, I apologize for interrupting. We're going to make a small adjustment. Turn the mic a little bit towards me. We just need to line up with your face a little better there, and then pull it forward maybe 1 inch. Okay.
I feel like it's jumping out.
Yeah, you can lower it.
Okay.
A little. That's a little more comfortable. There you go. Please.
Are you represented by a lawyer in connection with your testimony here today?
Yes, I am.
Are you testifying pursuant to several grants of immunity today?
Yes.
Is one of those grants of immunity in a letter from Summit County?
Yes.
Is one of those grants of immunity in a letter from Salt Lake County?
Yes.
Is one of those grants of immunity in a letter from the federal government?
Yes.
And is there also an understanding between you and Wasatch County, or at least your attorney in Wasatch County, that there's immunity for the gun and the marijuana in Wasatch County?
Yes.
And do you have those 4 grants of immunity?
Why is Kouri writing down all these notes? It's not necessary. I don't think it looks good for a criminal defendant to be so busy acting like they're a lawyer and they're trying to fight for their defense. You sit back, let the attorneys do the work. And so being a busybody like that, I don't think looks good. But I think it's a way for her to be distracted from having to look at the jury, and she knows it's going to be very damning testimony. So she's just going to be busy looking down a lot and looking directly at the victim, the witness here. And so I don't think it's a good look at all.
Because you have committed crimes in connection with this case in all 4 of those jurisdictions.
Yes.
What is your understanding of those immunity agreements?
We're proceeding forward with the truth, and there will be no charges filed back on me.
Do you understand that they require you, in order to avoid criminal exposure, they require you to testify today truthfully?
Yes.
Do they require you to testify today fully,
Yes.
regardless of who's asking you the questions?
Yes.
And that if you don't testify truthfully and fully, you could lose all of that immunity?
Yes.
Did your lawyer assist you in getting that immunity?
Yes.
Did he advise you of the potential criminal exposure you face if you lose that immunity?
Yes.
Just
Yes. Sorry.
I mean, to remind you from time to time.
Yeah.
So in other words, you'd be a massive fool to not tell the truth.
It's not personal.
Just like, yeah, you're fine.
She's given at least 7 recorded interview statements, so those are quite a bit. And so they have a lot of things to try to trip her up on, the defense does. But I think she's coming across really good, and she's going to be hard to try to attack as one being.
Did you interview with investigators before you got immunity in those cases?
Yes.
About how many times?
6 times, 6 or 7 times.
And over the course of those 6 or 7 times before you had immunity, about how many hours total did you speak with investigators?
Give or take 10, 15 hours.
Why did you speak with investigators before you were granted immunity?
Well, after they told me what I was being held for, sorry, I wanted to make sure it was the right thing to do, if this is actually what happened.
What do you mean, if this is actually what happened?
They told me that Eric had died of it.
Oh, come on.
So,
Check on listener.
Your Honor,
You're objecting to the fact that she learned that Eric died? I mean, that's bad move by the defense.
what are we doing?
She's just trying to say that she felt guilty because she heard that Eric died and she realized that she's the one that probably supplied the drug. And then she's feeling like, I got to come clean. I got to clear my conscience. So this is a minor league move here by the defense. Its effect on listeners. This shows that they don't know what the rules of evidence are like. The kind of stuff I've seen the defense counsel do here, they try to refresh somebody's memory without even asking if they need it to be refreshed and try to show what they...
Bloodworth, please continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lauber, I just asked you why you testified before you had been granted immunity. You started to say that the investigators told you that Eric had died. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you please pick up your testimony from there?
Yeah.
When they heard first,
Defense lost. They don't understand the rules of evidence, okay? They're not offering it to prove the truth of the matter that he died, or could they? The bottom line is they're trying to offer to show how learning of his death affected her. So it's complete garbage move by the defense.
told me that when they first mentioned that Eric, I already knew Eric had passed away, but when they had mentioned that it was from an overdose, that hit hard. Only for the fact that if that's what happened, I needed to step up and take accountability of my part in this that happened, or what I was asked for.
Okay, she's got emotion. Something you don't see from Kouri.
At first, it took a minute
She's being real.
to process everything.
Despite her having a life history of drugs, she actually still has a heart, has a conscience, has some morals.
Sorry.
That's fine. Is it fair to summarize, though, that you interviewed with investigators before you had immunity, in part to take accountability for your part in Eric's death?
I mean, that's really rare, I must say, to want to come forward, say how you're involved in dealing drugs that ultimately you think were the ones that killed Eric Richins. So if you have an attorney, they're going to say, no, we're going to make sure you have immunity first. We don't want to put more weight on you being tied to a murder. So that's very honorable and noble of her. You don't really see that ever, hardly at all.
Yes.
Was another part of the reason you spoke with investigators prior to a grant of immunity was that you hoped you would eventually get some benefit, some grant of immunity?
Yes.
Before you interviewed with investigators prior to the grant of immunity, right? The 6 interviews over 10 to 15 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Had you consulted with an attorney?
No.
Had you reviewed any materials to prepare for those interviews?
No, I was in jail. Yeah.
No attorney. Even more credible.
Did you meet with your lawyer to prepare for testifying today?
No, I didn't use them. Oh, yeah. And sorry, I'm confused. Sorry, ask the question.
I'll ask it again. To get ready for today, did you meet with your lawyer?
No. Oh, yes. Sorry, in the back room. Yes, sorry.
Not just today. Let me just ask generally. To prepare, you knew today was going to come, right?
Oh, yeah.
She has a learning disability, so he needs to talk slower and break it down more. So I think she's thinking, did you talk to your lawyer today about your testimony? You know, that I think it's just over her head, those kind of phrases. So I think he needs to break it down more.
Yes.
In order to get ready for today, over the course of the several weeks or months, have you met with your lawyer to prepare to testify like you are now?
Yes.
In the course of that preparation, did you review any materials so that you would be ready?
Yes.
What did you review?
Some of my testimonies when I was in jail and some pictures and data from cell phones and
Money for the drugs.
for Susan.
Susan, I'm only talking about Susan
Okay.
Kohler. I think that might be confusing.
Yeah, no.
I'm only talking about Susan Kohler.
Okay. No, she did not. I had given Susan the money.
Okay, how much money?
$600.
What drugs did you ask Susan Kohler? What type of drug did you ask Susan Kohler for on Kouri Richins' behalf?
Just some kind of pain pillar, an opiate.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to jump ahead here some more. Her cross starts at approximately 6:05, I believe.
Where did Mr. Crozier continue to hit you up for more drug deals?
Later on, he did. He said that his
What did you do?
she's okay.
Sorry.
I don't, yeah.
These are, okay.
You can put it over here.
I'm going to ask you to refer to these as we talk. These are the transcripts of the interviews that you did in April and May of 2023. All right. And just to help you out here, take a look here.
All right, so right now,
Is if
we know the cross-examination is going to be extremely slow and very much boring the jury at a lot of points. And when you bring this many notebooks up in the beginning, why don't you just bring up one at a time, trying to like put all these notebooks all there at one time is just really strange. I don't recall I've ever seen this.
you want to just set that aside so we get to that. And then your last two interviews, 13th and 14th, they're right here.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to be referring to that.
Well, that's a lot.
It's part of the thing, trying to intimidate her.
In April of 2023, between April of 23 and May of 23, you had 7 interviews with, it was Detective O'Driscoll and Detective Maynard, and then there were some other people too, but those were the 2 main ones, correct?
Yes.
All right. So since that time, since the last interview that we have a transcript of, May 13th, 2023, how many times have you met with, we're going one at a time, how many times have you met with Detective O'Driscoll?
While I was incarcerated?
No, after you got out.
After? There was a couple of times.
Couple. Okay.
Yes.
So
I mean, I'm not sure on the numbers. It was a while back.
in what circumstances did you meet with him?
They would come and they would check on my ankle monitor when I was on my ankle monitor. Sometimes I wasn't charging. Sometimes they swing by and ask me a couple questions.
Questions about the case?
Just about my part.
Okay. So about the things you're testifying about.
Yes.
All right. And you say they, was that Detective O'Driscoll and Detective Maynard together?
Yes.
Did you always meet with them together or did you sometimes meet with them separately?
No, they were always together.
Always together.
Mhm.
And so they came to your house.
She seems to have good recollection of events and whatnot. You just need to make sure you ask the question in a straightforward manner, a plain spoken manner, so that she comprehends what you're asking. Otherwise, she does very good, and I think she's coming across extremely well for the prosecution.
House a couple. What does a couple mean? 2 or does a couple mean 5? Does a couple mean, what does that mean to you?
We can go out on a limb and say maybe 3 to 4 times.
3 to 4 times. And they would talk to you about your testimony during those visits sometimes?
Not really my testimony. They'd ask, if the question came up like, okay, where was you at this time? Stuff like that.
Okay. Do you know if they recorded any of those conversations with you?
I do believe so. I'm not 100%.
Okay, you know what? The attorney knows whether they record or not. So asking the witness this, you're just getting bogged down in minutia that doesn't matter. I'm going to jump ahead because let's see. She asked her about her disabilities, and I thought that was very, very much a point where you felt sorry for her.
Yes.
Okay. And you had to pay a $40 fee, or you had to pay for your mistreatment?
Yes. That's still in the beginning of when I entered drug court. Yes.
Correct. So that'd be a sanction that you had to pay for that.
No. If you missed it, they considered that wasting the therapist's time when somebody else could have took that spot.
All right. Well, that's fair.
It was not a sanction, no.
Okay. So the next month, October,
That's not good news.
Yes.
the next week, on her statement of
So she tested positive. Oh, she has a drug problem.
So
3rd. This might be
So every little detail, it's just
right.
yes, but some of those due to working with Doreen coming off the mountain, or running behind, work
running late. Okay.
on the
Or a drug. Yeah. Oh, you don't right now.
yes. Once again, when you're going to relapse when you're around active people.
I
yes.
understand. And let's see.
This is the kind of people that Kouri Richins knew she could get drugs from. And she used this woman's weaknesses and her addictions to be able to find the right people to get the drugs she needed to kill her husband. That's what it's looking like.
As we move into March of 20.
All right, we got some.
Sure, Your Honor, no objection.
Okay. Defendants 1008 is admitted, and we will publish it now.
All right. So that's just so the jury can see what that looks like. Now, if in drug court you're found to be in violation, you're found to have committed new crimes, what happens is your plea in abeyance goes away and you are sentenced on your original 2 first-degree felonies and your 3rd-degree felony that you pled to, right?
Sorry, what was the question?
Okay. Try.
She's thrown all this legal terms in her. She doesn't quite get it. So let me jump ahead here. We have where she actually talks about the drugs is 7:25-ish.
And Ms. Lauber, we spoke about that. That's your docket from drug court, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'd move to admit Exhibit 1007. We don't need to publish it at this time, though.
No objection.
Okay. Defendants 1007 is admitted.
All right. Susan got you Roxy's, and that Roxy's are oxycodone. Did I get that right?
Correct.
All right. What are Roxy 30s?
They are a stronger pain pill. Hydrocodone, I believe.
Okay. Are they 30 milligram oxycodones?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's see. Now, but Susan got you some prescription oxycodone, and when you were interviewed on May 2nd, the interview we're talking about right now, you said that you left those pills in the fire pit at the house in Midway. Do you remember that?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. Can you look at page 41? Do you see that?
Yes, I do see.
Okay. So at that time you said, I left the pills in the fire pit at Midway and the money was in the fire pit in Midway. Remember, that's correct, right?
Correct.
Okay. It's different than what you said today though, right?
Yes.
All right. Fair to say though, 3 years ago, you might have remembered a little bit better than you do today what happened, right?
Ooh. No.
Did someone tell you what you said 3 years ago was wrong? So now you're saying something different today?
No, nobody told me what I said was wrong.
All right. But you did say then that you left them in the fire pit at Midway.
Yes.
All right, we'll get back to that. Now,
Okay, I want to go back to that disability portion. Thanks to Leslie sending me the timestamp. If I can see that, 6:53:04.
Yes.
okay, so you knew that Susan could get you some prescription pain pills.
Yes.
All right, so you went to Susan and asked her to do that for you.
Yes.
All right. But during that interview, you told the officers numerous times, I have been using drugs since I was 6th grade.
Yes.
My brain is not that good.
Correct.
I don't remember things.
Yes.
You have a learning disability also, correct?
Yes.
Can you share what that is?
No. No.
I would ask you to share what it is. That was a question, not a request. Sorry. I apologize, but it could be relevant.
That was
Ms.
a question,
Lewis.
not a request.
Ms. Lauber, if you would please answer the question.
Yes, I do have one.
And what,
What is it?
It's not the highest education of, it's a low grade education.
is that because you struggled in school because of your learning disability?
Yes.
All right. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. A lot of people have that.
Right.
She's getting a little bit teary-eyed having to bring that out and be embarrassed. So good move by the defense here, making her appear more sympathetic, credible.
All right. So you go to Susan and
All right, so
did you ask her for rock?
jump ahead here, back to 727.
Today, what happened? Right?
Ooh. No.
Did someone tell you what you said 3 years ago was wrong? So now you're saying something different today?
No, nobody told me what I said was wrong.
All right. But you did say then that you left them in the fire pit at Midway.
Yes.
All right, we'll get back to that. Now,
Come on, move it along.
in that interview, you told Detectives Maynard, Detective O'Driscoll, and Agent Sorensen that you never did a hand-to-hand exchange with Kouri. Turn to page 41.
I'm on 41.
Says you never exchanged pills with Kouri. Isn't that what you told them then?
Yes.
So you said then, I never did a hand-to-hand exchange with Kouri, but today you're saying you gave those pills directly to Kouri.
Yes, in my driveway.
Okay. And you said that the pills were $600.
Yes.
And then you fronted the money. That's what you said today, is that you fronted the money.
Yes, to Susan.
So you didn't make any money off doing that?
No,
So you just
not this one. No.
did that. It's not a very good drug dealer, correct?
Right.
All right, so you just took the money, got the pills, paid for them, took them back and forth, risked drug court just because.
Just, I thought she was a friend.
All right. So at that time, at that interview, you told detectives that, again, that you bought the pills from Susan, left the pills in the fire pit, and you told them that this was the first of 3 times you bought drugs from Ms. Richins. That's what you told them back in May of 2023.
Yes.
Okay. You bought pills once from Susan, twice from Robbie.
Oh, once from Susan, 3 from Robbie.
It's not what you told them then, though, right?
I'm not sure. It was a lot to process, and it was many years ago.
We couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
It was a lot to process. It was quite a few years ago.
Let me look at page 54, I think it is. Let me just be sure. Next one, I might start to, let's see.
A lot. Unprepared attorneys, we've seen it in crime cases. Yeah, it's,
Okay.
the lawyer doesn't know
This
to
is
find it.
I'm looking right here and right here. Okay. All right. So when you were being interviewed in May, and you were telling them in May of 23, and you were telling them, I picked up the money from the fire pit. I got the pills from Susan. I left the pills in the fire pit. Detectives told you that it was really important. You had to be very clear what had happened, right?
Yes.
And you were doing your best, I would imagine, to tell them what you remembered happened.
Yeah, doing her best. That's true. Just read on. Keep reading. Is there a question here?
So I'm just asking you if you were trying your hardest to tell them what you remember.
No, there's a question.
Yes, there was a lot to process.
Yeah, I understand. But that's what you told them. I left the pills in the fire pit.
Yes.
And you talked more that day about how you really needed to stay in drug court, correct?
Yes.
And let's turn to page 62, but you told them you were gonna fight. You were gonna fight hard to stay in drug court, correct?
Yes.
And they told you, well, lucky for you, we're on your side. And as long as this relationship continues, we're here for you. Remember that?
I don't recall.
We'll take a look there on page 62.
62?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay. And that's what they told you. Lucky for you, we're on your side.
Yes.
And as long as this relationship continues, we're here for you.
Yes.
And you tell them, I'll do whatever I can. Correct?
Yes.
And you tell them throughout this interview and really throughout the next 6, 7 interviews that you have a lot of memory problems.
There's a lot to process, yes.
I understand. You told them though that you have a lot of memory problems.
I don't know those exact orders, but
Look to page 64.
So what's abnormal here is, as a trial attorney, you need to ask the witness about something that happened in the past. And if they don't remember it, then you have them be directed to something that you have memorialized, whatever their statement was. And then you take the statement away and then ask them, does that refresh your memory? Okay, what did you say back in 2023 or whatever it is? So here, she's just like having her read something from back then and then asking her to testify about it. You just don't see this kind of thing, except from this defense team. It's not the way the rule of evidence is supposed to be conducted.
yes.
Okay. And you told them more than once over those days you had a lot of memory problems, correct?
My memory wasn't the best, yes.
Yeah. You told that to Nick Von Savage when you spoke with him on the phone. Remember that?
Yes, still once again, a lot to process when you're incarcerated.
And you told them that you had fried your brain using drugs.
A figure of speech, yes.
But you said that figure of speech numerous times over those interviews, right?
Probably yes.
Numerous times. I've been using drugs since 6th grade. My brain is fried.
Yes.
All right. And during this interview, they're still telling you you might be going to prison here.
Yes.
But that's not going to happen. We talked about that as long as you help them out, correct?
Correct.
And by helping them out, they tell you that means you need to give us the details to make sure Kouri gets convicted of murder, correct?
I don't know if that's their exact words.
Can we pull up Defense Exhibit 1032? Or how do you want to do this? This is for impeachment. Do we play this just for the witness, or can we? I'm not to admit it. It's a demonstrative for impeachment. Can I play that to the jury at this point?
At least got to give Mr.
He has the exhibit.
Are you familiar with what it is? You just give a number. I don't know what it is, so I can't tell you.
I provided it.
Do you need a chance to review it?
Can they bring it up?
It should be up for counsel. Am I wrong about that? Okay.
Is there a transcript of this? Where's the transcript?
Is there a date that you can identify?
Do you have the transcript from the interviews, or do you want me to pull up that one? I can.
There it is. It's up.
Oh, thank you, Katie. You're very good at this.
You can just take me to the point in the transcript.
75.
Bogged down in lack of preparation here.
What are you talking about?
Come on, Attorney Lewis. Keep the flow going. They get so bogged down in dates. People don't remember dates. You need to maybe go with years or other significant
Can you
events.
go to the next page?
It's on that page. It's
You
at the
don't know how
bottom.
to deal with people on the witness stand.
He wants to see the next page.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's Kouri again, no motion whatsoever. None. She's so checked out. Looks completely heartless. Well, here you have the person actually supplied the fentanyl is having remorse and feeling horrible about it.
So you want to use the transcript or the video?
The video.
This portion.
Yes, it's a small portion. Could we play that for the jury now?
How does she hear it and not? I'm sorry. I might not be following.
Please approach. My apologies.
This is really messed up. Now they have to turn off the court mic. But she has a sympathetic factor to her. This Carmen does, so She came forward without any kind of immunity protection. And they had to give it to her if they're going to have her call in and testify, because her lawyer may say, no, you're not going to testify unless you have immunity up front. So that's the way it would work normally, is your lawyer would be the one to secure immunity. Here, she's like just spilling her guts saying, hey, I feel responsible for this, what Kouri did, because I'm the one that supplied it.
If you would pay attention to the screen for a moment. Katie, if you'd queue up the video, right, Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
And then fast forward to whatever
Just the
timestamp.
clip that we have.
Yeah. And then let me know when you're ready. Okay. Go ahead.
So here's where it's at, okay, in your drug court, okay?
Oh, wait a minute.
We have to do it again.
1 second. That's all right. This happens. If you would, Katie, do me a favor. Unplug, plug back in. If you queue up the video again. And press play, please.
So here's where it's at, okay, in your drug court, okay? They are looking for, and this is gonna be upsetting, but let me finish. They're looking to pull your drug court deal and ask for 7 years on your 2 first. 5 years for the one felony, and then a 40% portion for the second, for 7 years. The only exception to that, and the only thing that they're willing to kind of help you out with, is if you can help us out with this.
And by so, he means like, give us the details that will ensure Kouri gets convicted of murder.
So that's what they said to you.
Yes.
That's not proper method of introducing that video here. If they have a transcript of it, she could be asked about it. And if she denies it, then you could have her read it and then bring it out that way, or then bring it out, I guess, extrinsically through a video. But here it's like they're not even asking her for her memory to read it first and then relay what happened. So this whole thing is just really not the way you normally see a trial be conducted here in America, where we pretty much all have the uniform rules of evidence.
Yes.
And let me just identify a couple of people here. The first person speaking to you, telling you that, first he says, I talked to McKay. McKay is the prosecutor in Wasatch County Drug Court, right?
Correct.
McKay King.
Yes, correct.
All right. And that in talking to McKay King, you may be getting 7 years in prison on your state case.
Correct.
But if you help him out, that's not going to happen.
Correct.
And by helping him out, that means you need to give us the details that will ensure that Kouri gets convicted, correct?
Correct.
And you are willing to do whatever it takes to save yourself from getting kicked out of drug court and going to prison, correct?
I'm willing to go forward with the truth, yes.
And you tell them, I'll do whatever it takes.
Yes. That means incriminating me, yes.
But then you tell them, but I need a
Good answer. Good answer. If that means incriminating me. So
blueprint about what happened. Because you don't know what happened, right?
Maybe I just needed, I guess if you want to call it a blueprint, kind of a layout of what was going on.
That's right. You said you need to lay out for me what you want, right?
Not lay out what they want, lay out what had happened or what.
Look at page 80.
Page what?
80 of the same May 2nd.
Okay, correct.
You need a blueprint, you need, lay it out for me. Correct?
It just says a blueprint, yes.
All right. And then you said, I'll do whatever because you struggled really hard to get where it is. I'll do whatever it takes. Correct? That's not on that page. I'm asking if you
Oh.
remember that.
Sorry, yes.
It's fine. Okay. You did tell them that. And so they say, all right, that's great. We'll go to the prosecutor and we'll try and hammer out a deal for you. Correct?
Correct.
Now, do you recall, and if you don't, you can turn to page 69.
Keep in mind, those are investigators. Those are not her attorneys in there. I don't believe any of those are attorneys. So she's doing this without any representation of an attorney. And if she's saying she needs a blueprint, she's not saying, hey, tell me what you want to hear so I can testify to that, testify to that. I don't take it that way at all. I don't think the jury will either.
That during that meeting, Detective O'Driscoll asked you to write down everything that you could remember for your next meeting, to help out with the next meeting. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did you ever do that? Did you write that out?
No.
Okay. I just wondered if that had happened. All right. Now, you tell them, and I think you said this again today, that after you got pills from Susan Kohler, the next set of pills you got were light green pills, correct?
Correct.
Katie, can you pull up exhibit 1030? Can you see that, Ms. Lauber?
Yes, I
Does that look similar, or I don't know, how close do those look to the pills that you received?
Those are dark green.
Okay, so the pills you got were even lighter green than that.
Yes, those are darker.
Okay. Can I admit that? For comparison, she says the pills were lighter than the pills in those pictures, in that picture.
No, Your Honor, authenticity.
I can blow it up bigger. It's just a picture of the pills.
Just a picture.
If it's just the picture of the two pills,
Tablets, yeah, that's fine.
but there's a whole lot of
No, how about, can we just publish this? We don't have to, do you want to admit this as a redacted copy or just publish it?
Let's admit it as a redacted copy for now.
Any objection?
if we redact everything around the pills.
Yeah, I think what we're talking about here is this, what's on the counsel and witness screen, Mr. Bloodworth.
She's
Photos of the pills is really a big deal here.
redacting it in real time.
Logging down
Is there a second page?
any momentum you have.
No, I'm sorry, is there a second?
No. Oh. I don't think so.
Yeah, that too. Should we?
And I can just show the photo.
If we want to publish the photo of the two pills now, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll mock
And
up.
then redact it later and
Understood. Let's publish just the photograph of the tablets. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, pausing there for just a moment.
So your memory is the first pills you got from Mr. Crozier were an even lighter green color than that.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember if they said anything on them? Like those pills say something on them.
I don't recall. Like I said, they were in a little plastic bag. I didn't sit there and count them and play with them.
Okay. Now, you now have a conversation with the detectives. We can take that down. Thank you, Katie. And they are telling you, well, you asked for blues. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then they ask you, actually, some of the same questions I was asking you. They're asking you, you asked for, what are M30s? Do you remember? They were asking you about M30s and Roxys or Oxys.
I don't recall.
Okay, why don't you turn to page 90? It's over 90 and 91.
Whoops.
All right. And they're asking you about M30s. You see that? You're on page 90.
I am on 90.
What's the question, Ms. Lee?
Yeah, what's
The question is, they ask you what M30s are, and you tell them that M30s are either Roxys or Oxys, correct?
correct? I'm not seeing the question in here at all.
All right, well, maybe you just remember. They asked you what M30s were, and you told them M30s are Roxys or Oxy, which is oxycodone, correct?
Ms. Lauber, I'm sorry. We're getting confused here. I need you to be more specific about when you're asking her, whether it's something in the transcript or if you're asking something based on her
What's
memory.
she doing?
Okay. Do you remember that they asked?
She's like testifying, making statements more than questions, really. Telling her look ahead, and then she forgets what she's supposed to look at and what portion of the page or pages she's supposed to look at. Really bizarre.
You what M30s were, or they asked you about M30s.
Yes, that's right here.
And you told them M30s would be Roxys or oxycodone,
Yes,
oxys.
yes.
But isn't it true that Sergeant O'Driscoll says, no, M30s are fentanyl? And I'm not using his exact words, but he tells you M30s are fentanyl.
Yes,
And you say, well, what did you say? Do you remember? Is it there?
I don't recall.
Did you say, oh, okay, see, that's how much I don't really deal with them.
Yes, with fentanyl, yes.
Okay, but you don't know anything about fentanyl.
No, not really.
And every time, we'll strike that. Kouri Richins, she never did ask you for fentanyl, correct?
No, I had told her what Robbie had. She said, okay, go ahead and get the fentanyl.
That's your testimony today?
Yes, she did ask for, when I told her what I had, that's what she said, yes.
That's the first time you've said that though, right?
No,
You told them that Kouri never asked for fentanyl.
in jail or, now I'm confused. Can you repeat the question?
You told authorities during the course of these interviews that Kouri Richins never asked for fentanyl.
Yes,
And you kept telling them during this interview that you got Roxys.
the ones from Susan Kohler, yes.
They tell you that you got fentanyl for Kouri Richins, correct?
No, when I reached out to Nicole Cummings, she would reach out to Robbie. Robbie's one that told me that he can get fentanyl.
That's your recollection today.
Yes.
That wasn't your recollection then, though, was it?
No, like I said, it was a lot to process. I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
Okay. But what you do tell them is not that Kouri didn't ask for fentanyl. She asked for the Michael Jackson drug.
Yes.
You tell them that.
hmm
And you don't know what that is.
No.
And you Google it
Yes.
and you discover that it's a drug called propofol.
Yes.
And propofol is not fentanyl.
No.
It's a sleeping drug, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Ms. Lauber,
More than a sleeping drug.
Correct.
All right. But then they keep telling you that you must have given her fentanyl, correct?
I don't recall them saying that that's what.
You turn to page 124. And while you're looking, let me just, so up to this point, you've told them you got Oxycontin, Roxy's from, I said Oxycontin, oxycodone, from Susan, that Kouri asked you for the Michael Jackson drug, that you didn't know what that was. And then they tell you it's fentanyl. And you said, well, they tell you M30s are fentanyl. And you said, well, I didn't know that. Just to recap. And now at this point, you say, well, I must have asked for fentanyl. Because why else would I have asked unless Kouri told me to ask for fentanyl, right?
Correct.
Ms. Lover, I need you to speak loud.
Correct, sorry.
And as you turn to page 125, you say, I want to say that is the only way that got in my head.
Correct.
So you're telling them, well, I guess Kouri must have asked for fentanyl because how else, why else would we be talking about fentanyl?
When I reached out to Nicole, she gave me Robbie's number. Robbie said that he had a friend with, I asked for the fentanyl, or he said he had fentanyl, and I had reached back to Kouri and said that he has some fentanyl.
Okay, we're going to come back to that because this is a new story today that you've never told before. But let's talk about the story you told on this day. This day, you said, how else did I get fentanyl in my head? Right?
Correct.
Ms. Lover, isn't it fair to say you got fentanyl in your head from Detectives O'Driscoll and Maynard? They're the ones that put fentanyl in your head.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Because up till this point in the interview, you've said, no fentanyl. I don't deal in fentanyl. I didn't get her fentanyl. I got her Roxy's. I got her Oxys. Oh, she asked for Michael Jackson drugs. Oh, I guess I got her fentanyl. How else would fentanyl be in my head? Right? That's what's happened up to this point.
Correct.
And the only person up to this point who has put the word fentanyl in your head are these detectives, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Lover, you're on the stand. At that point, they are the ones that told you it was fentanyl.
They're the ones that told me that Eric passed away from fentanyl.
They're the ones that put the word fentanyl in your head.
They're the ones that told me that that's where Eric passed away from.
Okay.
And she knows whatever she called it, it was the thing that killed him. That's why she felt guilty. So,
But during this interview, you're very confused about what happened because first you told them that you dropped the oxys from Susan in the fire pit.
like the defense attorney's thinking, well, as long as Kouri didn't ask for fentanyl, Kouri's off the hook in this death, right? Sorry, it's not going to work.
Correct?
Correct.
And then you tell them you gave Kouri some pills standing in the driveway, correct?
Correct.
But you told them the pills in the driveway were not the pills from Susan. They were the light green pills that you got later, correct?
No, I believe I said that the ones that Susan gave me, she came and picked up in my driveway.
Let's go to page 135 of that interview.
Let's just move on. Yeah, I mean, Attorney Lewis is bogged down in this thing.
Where did you tell them you left the pills?
It's combined. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'll just show.
So there's three different ones. Yeah, there's three different ones right here. So they're the ones in my driveway.
Folks,
What's
we
going
can't
on
have a
here?
private conversation here. I need you to pull that microphone back.
The attorney's moving the microphone and trying to be whispering with this witness on the stand. This is wow. Let's back that up. This is pretty hilarious.
Come from Susan, and then another one.
Up there.
So there's three different ones. Yeah, there's three different ones right
You
here.
got Carmen trying to show Lewis how she's confused.
So they're the ones in my driveway.
Look at that.
Folks,
So they basically called a sidebar in court, said, forget the judges here, forget the juries over on this side. Let's just have this little conversation. And you can sort of try to fill me in on the details of what you meant on your statements here. So
we can't have a private conversation here. I need you to pull that microphone back.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. She was explaining and I'll ask
I
the
know, that may
question
be,
based
but-
on that. Okay.
Yeah.
wow. So you want to go up there and have a private conversation with a witness so you guys make sure you have a meeting the minds of what the question is asked. That's not something you normally see in a court of law.
All right. Thank you, Carmen.
A lot of first
All right.
moves,
So
Charles.
you're saying at this point now that you're telling them about 3 transactions.
Right here it says that.
And it says, go ahead, tell me what you said.
It says combined, yes, because the ones from Susan and then the green ones, and then there was the other ones that were the fire pit. The third one was the fire pit.
But you don't tell them that the ones from Susan were in the driveway during this interview, correct?
I don't recall.
All right. But then later on, you tell them that, let's go to page 159. Because you change your story. Tell me if you recall this. Go to page 159, then I'll ask you. I'm sorry, I know it.
This is a lot.
You would just pause and listen to Ms. Lewis's question. Thank you.
Do you have it on the page?
Yes,
Okay,
159.
Listen to my question, and then if you don't remember, I'll have you look at the page, okay?
Okay.
So you changed your story and you said, no, the first time wasn't in the driveway or the fire pit. The first time was in a cup in a closet inside the Midway house. You tell them that at this interview. Do you recall that?
I don't recall.
Okay, look at the page there.
No, this just says one was at the house.
It says in the closet.
One was in the closet and one was in the fire. Sorry.
The first time was in a cup in a closet in the Midway house.
It doesn't say the first time. It just says one of them.
All right, fair. Now,
Oh,
when
you
was
caught the lawyer trying to trip her up on something. Good job there, Carmen. Excellent job.
that then that you left it in a cup in the closet?
So, the lawyer, the whole line of questioning, first you said this happened and she's trying to confuse this witness, first, then second. So I think it just shows to the jury that you can't trust this lawyer. And if you lose credibility as a lawyer in front of a jury, you're really hurting your client and you got an even much tougher case to win then. If a jury can't trust a lawyer, it's really bad news.
Would have been the third one.
You think it was the
I
third
think
one?
I do believe so, yes.
Now, the third one, which the original third one or the new third one? Because originally you said there were only 3 transactions, 1 from Susan, 2 from Robbie. Now you're saying there's 4, 1 from Susan, 3 from Robbie. So are we talking about the original third transaction or the new third transaction?
Your Honor, objection foundation to the same transaction.
I think she said the transaction. She
There'd
said
be
there
the
were,
third one, no matter what you do.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what?
The third is the third, no matter what you do.
It's the fourth that
Yeah,
was added.
it's sustained. It's the fourth that was added.
All right, well, no, then let me reframe it. The third one originally would be the last transaction. Now, the third one would not be the last transaction. So are you talking about, because originally you said you were 3 transactions. So when you said the third, did you mean the last transaction?
When I say that, I mean the 3 from Robbie, including Susan's or excluding Susan's?
Well, this time you said there weren't 3 from Robbie. There were 2 from Robbie.
I don't recall that.
All right. We'll get back to that in another interview where you talk about that. For now, let me ask you this. Do you know when you left the pills in the cup in the Midway house? What approximate date?
I don't know approximate date.
Was it after February 11th? You testified on direct you bought pills from Susan on February 11th.
Yes.
So it would be after February 11th.
That second one would have been in my driveway. The third one would have been at the other house, the Midway house.
Okay, so that would have been,
I've heard that John Smith, but I don't know if it's true or not. If he's retired JAG, I heard he's from the Navy.
sometime in February.
Approximately, yes.
All right. What was inside the Midway house at that time when you went into the house and left it in a cup in the closet?
It was pretty empty. There was just doing some construction stuff on it. And in the closet, she told me there would be a box with some coffee cups.
Okay. And were there any boxes in the house or just in the closet?
There was just the one in the closet. I didn't go looking in the house.
All right. Now, as you're going through this interview with them at this time, you tell them again, I don't really know. My memory is messed up. It's foggy.
Yes, possibility.
Do we need to find it?
No,
Do you remember saying that? My memory's messed up.
I don't recall.
He's already
What
mentioned that.
turn to page 213.
Or what was your question?
That you told them your memory's messed up and it's foggy.
I don't see it on page 215.
213,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
213. 215.
I wouldn't even use the word transaction with somebody like her that has a learning disability. I can throw 'em off.
Correct.
Okay. And then you also told them during that interview, I bought pills for Kouri 3 times, period. That's on page 165 if you don't remember saying that. If you remember that, you can just say, yes, that's, I remember.
I don't recall.
Okay.
What page?
3 or 4.
165.
We're going to impeach you in the fact that you can't remember if it's 3 or 4.
Yes. It says 3 purchases were, oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, all 3 purchases were before it, yes.
You said there were 3 purchases all before Eric died.
Correct.
They come back later and tell you that's not correct, right?
Who's they?
That's not on the page. I'm just asking you. Did they come back another day and say, no, the last purchase was after Eric died?
The 4th one?
The new 4th one, yes.
There's an old 4th one?
Correct. Actually, yes, correct.
All right. You didn't remember that.
I don't recall.
All right. Finally, at the end of this interview, where you've said, and I'm not going to go through it all again, we've been through all the different things you said like 3 times. You said to them, just write it all down and I'll sign it.
I don't recall saying that.
Page 183.
Oh, yes.
You did. You said, write it all down, I'll sign it.
They wanted me to write it and I didn't want to write.
No, they didn't want you to write it. You asked them to write it all down for you and you'll sign it. Because to their credit, they said, well, no, that's not how this works.
She's not able to write all the things she's testifying to, so that's what she was asking for. And I think this attorney trying to make it look like, yeah, just write down whatever you want me to say and I'll sign is really a major spin. That's not what this witness is trying to do.
Your Honor, objection.
Tell me what.
I'd be a little bit more specific.
That wasn't a question, that was testimony and argument.
No,
It
the
is
question.
argumentative.
All right. I'll say it in a nicer tone.
You
They-
have to ask a question.
They told you, or I'm sorry, you told them, write it all down and I will sign it, correct?
I asked if they could write down my statement. Yes.
Right. You asked them to write it all down for
You know what? That's the way the FBI does it. Okay. So
you, correct?
To write my statement. Yes.
some agencies, they want the witness to type up their own statement, and other times they'll take the statement for the witness, and the witness doesn't review anything or even sign anything.
For you.
As we wrote it down, as we spoke about it, yes, they asked them
And
if
you
they
would
could
just-
write it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to You would just sign whatever they wrote.
No, not sign whatever they wrote. My statement.
That they were going to write for you. Correct?
I asked if they could write it as I did it, as I
That's-
spoke about it.
That's not what you said here. You said, write it all down and I'll sign it, correct?
Well, she was in an interview room with a recording going on, so that would be very easy to reconstruct.
Your Honor, objection asked and answered.
I'm not sure we got a clear answer. I'm still not sure what's on that page. So the question, Ms. Lauber, just so we can move on from here, is whether the transcript shows
It
what
says
Ms.
yes.
Lewis states.
Can you guys write it and I can sign it?
Thank you. All right. We're going to move to the May 3rd interview because they come back. I think it might just be Detective Maynard that comes back on May 3rd. I don't know if you recall. According to my notes, Detective Maynard comes back on May 3rd.
I know Maynard came one day, but I don't recall the date.
All right. So that interview starts out.
Once again, they keep talking about these dates. Like witnesses don't remember dates. May 3rd of 2023 or 2022. Really? How's a witness going to remember that, especially someone with a learning disability?
With Detective Maynard saying to you, well, because of what we came up with, it doesn't look like you're going to be charged. Do you remember that?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. You're having a very, I mean, and I understand it's just 3 years ago. It's hard to
Yes.
remember,
It's a lot to process, period.
but you remember it now. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But 4 years after it happened, you remember it. But a year after it happened, you didn't remember it.
What was the question?
It was probably not a very good question. I'm going to ask it
Yeah.
again. Okay. Sitting here today, you can't remember anything you said in these interviews. Well, not anything. That's not fair. A lot of what you said in these interviews, you can't remember.
This was 4 years ago.
This was 3 years ago.
Well, 3 years
yes.
ago. Yes.
But sitting here today, you remember very well what happened 4 years ago with these now 4 transactions. Right?
hmm
Okay. Let's look at page 3 of the interview on May 3rd.
What page?
Page 3 of the May 3rd interview. It might be in the next book, book 2.
Now what page? Sorry.
Page 3.
Okay, what was the question?
Detective Maynard starts out this interview by saying, because of what we came up with yesterday, you're not going to be charged.
Correct.
And you tell him, again, I'm willing to do whatever. Do you recall saying that?
I say, oh, okay.
Do you recall saying I'm willing to do whatever?
Yes.
Okay. All right. They tell you that they're going to have to talk to Susan Kohler, right?
Yes.
And that they tell you that, well, Susan could end up being charged with murder if her pills led to someone's death, correct?
I don't recall that.
Page 11.
I'm not sure on page.
You can tell she has a reading disability, learning disability.
And they tell you Susan could be charged with murder, but you're not going to be because you are helping us.
Correct.
All right. Now they start to ask.
Is she even really able to understand what she has in front of her? Can she really read it?
Ask you about Nicole Cummings. You brought her up a couple of times, but this is really the first time during the interviews that you talk with the detectives about Nicole Cummings.
Correct.
All right. And this is after you said that Kouri said, I need something stronger, maybe the Michael Jackson drug.
Correct.
All right. And you contact Nicole Cummings, who you knew. Were you roommates briefly? Is that how you knew her?
She was my roommate's son's girlfriend.
Roommate's son's girlfriend. Okay. So
the bedroom I rented, it wasn't my house. I rented a room.
Okay.
And her kids stayed there, and his girlfriend would.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that time, Nicole Cummings was a user.
Correct.
All right. So you reach out to Nicole Cummings to maybe get something stronger than the prescription oxy that you had got from Susan Kohler.
I think it was after the second one.
Well,
John Smith is asking, is a lot of this not objectionable, or is the prosecutor possibly letting her go on because of the nasty attitude and its impact on the jury? I think the prosecutor is probably just letting this go on like this because I think Carmen is doing a good job and the defense counsel is alienating themselves with the jury. They're not coming across very likable, and likability is a key factor to have persuasive arguments to a jury. If the jury doesn't like you, they don't really want to listen to what you have to say, and they're not going to look at your evidence in such a good light. So I think it's they realize that they're sinking themselves here. The defense is sinking themselves.
it couldn't have been because you met Robbie through Nicole, right?
Sorry. Okay, are we talking about, this is where I get confused because we have the three. So if we're eliminating Susan's, just talking about Robbie's?
No, we're
Talking
still
about Susan's.
I mean, she's sort of like the Katie McBanois of the Adelson murder case, right? She's got a lot of dirt on her. She's got a lot of issues, but she's got enough nuggets of truth and what her story is that the jury's going to sit there and go, you know what? She's done a lot of stuff we could say we're not going to believe her, but she's the one that came forward and says, hey, look, I think I'm responsible for this. That is huge to gaining credibility, a huge thing. And so the fact that she can't remember it's three times and a fourth afterwards or just three times beforehand, none of that matters. The bottom line is Kouri was looking for drugs. She wanted to get something even more potent and powerful to be able to knock off her husband. And that's what this really establishes. She was the one that helped conduit the drugs to Kouri, and she was not intending there to be a death, right? But Kouri it's obviously notable now that Kouri had wanted that to happen based on she was wanting to get on with her life and wanted a lot of money to continue on with her house flipping business.
We're talking about after you bought from Susan the first time.
Okay.
You get a text from Kouri saying, my investor wants something stronger, maybe the Michael Jackson drug, which you don't know what that is.
No.
But it's not fentanyl.
No.
And that's when you do a Facebook message to Nicole asking her to get you something.
I actually have a,
I know what you're going to say because I said that wrong. You did a Facebook message to Nicole saying you needed to talk to her.
correct.
All right. And when you talked to her, you said, I'd like some Roxy 30s.
I just asked her if she had if she knew anybody that could get some pills.
That's your memory is. So you don't remember saying, can you get me some Roxy 30s or
I think I named off a variety. If she
I'm
could
sorry,
get me, I think I named off a variety of pain pills.
Roxy 30s or blues, you said.
Yes.
What did that word mean to you at that time, blues?
Blues mean on the street that they are a man-made drug.
Okay. So we're talking about early 2022. Blues at that time did not necessarily mean fentanyl, right?
No, they meant fentanyl. On the street. The street drug is blues for fentanyl.
I know that became the street name for blues, but did it mean that when you reached out to Nicole?
Blues are blues.
All right. Okay. And she told you need to talk to my friend Robert Crozier.
She said I had a friend.
She arranged, like,
She gave me his number.
Okay. But you don't remember, at least at that time, you didn't know what date that was.
No.
And they're trying to help you figure out when you bought pills from Robert Crozier.
Sorry, what was the question?
Detective Maynard, I guess I said they, but I think maybe
You
it was
said
just
they,
Maynard. Was trying to help you figure out the dates that you bought pills from Robert Crozier.
Yes.
And they tell you you contacted him twice for drugs. Robert Crozier.
I don't recall if that's what they told me.
We'll look at page 87.
Okay, what was your question?
They're trying to help you figure out the dates. And they tell you they find 2 dates that you contacted Robert Crozier by looking at your phone, right?
Correct.
Okay. You actually didn't remember Robert Crozier's name initially, right?
I actually knew him as he was up in Ogden.
Okay. Called him like the Ogden dude or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Somewhere, yeah, the Ogden guy.
And they helped you figure out his name, right?
Actually, I told him if you would bring me if I had my phone, I could link them together.
Okay. And that, I mean, they did. They found his contact in your phone, right?
Yes, it
And
said
that's how
Robbie and Nicole.
Okay.
I got it 1.25
All right.
speed.
So they say you contacted him twice for pills, and you said, yes, that's probably right. I was probably meeting him for pills.
Correct.
And then you tell them, I hope that helps you.
Correct.
And they say, well, we need more detail than that.
They said I had to go into more detail.
They told you they needed more detail.
That I needed to go into more detail.
Okay. All right.
Overall, this defense cross-examination is, I think, helping the prosecution. This is helping her to be shown as someone that has a moral compass that she wants to set the record straight. Hey, I was involved, and they did the right thing by cutting her deal, by not sending her away down to prison. And she may go to prison before it's all said and done. But the bottom line is she's been a credible witness. She's the source of the drugs. So whatever type it was, whatever the amount was and all that, Kouri was the one that was using her. She was a vulnerable person. She's a drug addict. And this is the perfect person that Kouri targeted because she knew she'd get the job done. In fact, she did, in fact, get the job done for her. This witness, though, did not know that Kouri had in mind to kill, right? So that's the big difference there. She did not know that she was being set up to help take part in a murder.
So you're going back over again and about the first buy from Susan during this interview, correct? And today, or not today, I'm sorry, that day, May 3rd, is when you tell them that you fronted the money to pay Susan, right? Correct?
For Susan, yes.
Okay. But the day before, that's not what you told them.
I do not recall.
Okay, let's go back to the interview the day before, May.
Now she's rehashing the same stuff over and over again. This is like ask and answer. The prosecution could object.
2nd.
Okay.
Can you go to the other binder with the May 2nd interview?
What page?
Unless you're going by dates, they're going
Might
by
have to help
different
here. But
dates.
page 40?
Just cover all the
Actually, maybe could you pull up 40? If I don't know what's quicker for you two or for me to walk up there.
Too much jumping around by the dates here. There's too much focus on dates rather than topics.
Actually, would you take that off that? All right. So the day before, you tell Detective O'Driscoll and Agent Swanson that somebody left the money for you in the fire pit.
We're going back to the fire pit.
Look at the bottom. No need. Go to the next page.
I'm just saying she's not in prison garb here, or jail garb. So she apparently is out in this drug court trying to stay clean. So if she's helpful to this trial, and in the end, I think, is she going to have trouble staying clean or something? And so she could do prison time for that. I don't think she's going to do prison time because she's lying about anything. The prosecution thinks that she's lying. So that's what I mean by that comment. She may still wind up doing some prison time.
So in that interview, you're telling them you picked up the money in the fire pit, and then you picked up the pills, and then you went back to the Midway house and left the pills in the fire pit. That's what you told them on May 2nd.
Okay, what was the question? Sorry, I was just reading.
Okay. That on that day, you said the money was in the fire pit and you left the pills in the fire pit. We're talking about the pills that Susan Kohler sold you. That's what you told them on May 2nd.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. And you said, I never exchanged money with Kouri.
Correct.
Okay. But now the next day, you said, no, I fronted the money to Susan. And then I went and put the pills and picked up the money all at the same time.
I don't recall that.
Okay, let's go back to May 3rd.
This our questioning started out about the actual drug deals. So
Page 108, going over to 109,
Which binder?
the May 3rd interview, binder 2.
Okay, go to what page?
108 to 109.
Haven't got the motion for mistrial yet, so can't comment on it. No, I'm sorry about that. Actually, we'll cover that tomorrow night.
That's when you changed your story to that you fronted the money to
Got
Susan,
about
correct?
12 minutes left here.
I'm on page 108.
So over to 109.
I've got to be in the wrong binder.
Needs help?
Yeah, I think I'm going to use the binders.
Binder.
That one's really different.
Take a whisper. Mike.
Yep, sorry, I was in the wrong binder.
That's fine. Okay.
They're confusing. Let me get this one out of the way.
Everything's supposed to be on the record here. The attorney should know that. So having these little chats.
It's confusing.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where you're telling them, I didn't get any cash from Kouri ever.
I'm not sure what question is pending this.
Yes.
All right.
What's your question?
I was backing up a little. I'm going to back up a little from the last question. You said you didn't get any money from Kouri ever. And then you said that you fronted the money to Susan.
Correct.
And then later got it in the fire pit. That's what you told them on this interview.
Correct. I think I was mixing up the purchases.
That's all you told them.
Typical for a drug addict.
For your question?
Okay. I'm saying that's not what you told them, correct?
Correct.
You told them it was the Susan Kohler purchase.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, and then they go back and they're still telling you, well, you still might be looking at time, state and federal time, right?
Correct.
But they tell you you're getting a big, giant get out of jail free card because of you helping us. Remember them telling you that?
I don't know if those were the exact words, but
Page 112.
something like that.
That's really stupid for cops to say.
Bottom of 112 over to 113.
Correct.
Okay, you're getting a big, giant get out of jail free card from us.
Correct.
From them. Okay. And I think actually Detective O'Driscoll was there at this interview. I think he's the one that told you that, right?
No, it's Detective Maynard.
Okay.
Who cares about the
I
name?
still think he was there, but we'll move on. But all right. Thank you for clarifying that. All right. Because go to page 116. This is where Detective O'Driscoll.
Okay. From this.
See, this first I'm just going to ask you if you remember, and if you don't, then look down at the page, okay?
Okay.
Do you remember that Detective O'Driscoll tells you something to the effect that this whole case is hinged on you, and you have to finish painting the picture because they don't have enough yet?
Correct.
Okay. So you go through your story again, correct?
Just listen to Ms. Lewis's question.
They go through so you try and go through the story again, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you tell them again that Kouri said, I need some pills for an investor with back problems the first time she reached out, correct?
Correct.
And then you tell them that you know for a fact the first 2 times you bought pills were not fentanyl.
I don't recall that.
All right, let's go to page 127. No, actually, I'm sorry. Let's go to page 131, I think it is.
So 131?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think Carmen's
Let me see. I'm not sure.
doesn't have a good memory. But the
Right.
gist of
Okay,
what
you see
she's
down
saying-
towards the bottom of the page?
the gist of what she's saying is accurate enough to be able to say for the jury, we trust her enough to realize that she was the source of drugs, whatever they were. The drugs were intended to kill.
Right, so I know for a fact the first ones weren't. That doesn't help when you blow it up here. And then let's go to, do you see that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right. And let's go to 134.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. What was the question you were
The
asking?
question was, on this page, she says, I know the first time wasn't fentanyl. She said, correct. Right?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were asking the question. What was it?
You did, so at this point, you say, I know for sure the first time wasn't fentanyl. Correct?
It says here, I know for a fact the first one in the beginning was not fentanyl.
Okay. Now, can I see page 134?
How's this line of questioning helpful? She's not getting any points out of this. You prove she doesn't have the greatest memory, but she's otherwise credible. Means well.
Okay. I'm going to look at, I can't find the exact spot I'm looking for right now, so I'm going to go back to that.
Counsel, may I just have a quick scheduling conversation with you?
To the bench?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just brief.
Okay, so that is it. That's it for day 4, folks. And so tomorrow night, I'm going to plan on covering the day 5. So she'll be on the stand some more for day 5. So I think that the jury's going to find her credible, just like the jury found Katie McBanwell credible enough to help convict the Adelsons. She's a key witness here for the prosecution.
Yeah, I think this will be an all right place to stop.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to reset.
That's it. What do you guys sounds like you all think she's credible as well? Yeah, so she's a key witness, very very much a key witness. So what we've heard so far with fentanyl being the reason Eric was killed, murdered, and then we have her being the supplier of it to Kouri. She places the drugs in Kouri's hands. And whether Kouri even knew it was fentanyl or whether Carmen Lauber knew it was fentanyl, it doesn't matter in the end because she knew it was something that was spiked. And that's the thing when you deal with illegal drugs, you never know what they may sneak in there. But with fentanyl, I think you're going to pay a higher street value for it. And of course, she did when she paid the $1,000+ to Carmen for the fentanyl. So anyway, I think the case is going very well for the prosecution. I don't see any reason why this case is going to end up anything other than a conviction for the murder. So we've got to see more evidence on the fraud and the forgery. But as far as the murder goes, definitely, I think this is a slam dunk win for the prosecution. So yes, Nandy, I agree. I think she's credible, and the attorney's intentionally trying to confuse everyone. I mean, she maintained her composure the whole time. Yeah, I think she's credible as well. Leslie B, credible, and there's some texts. So she's got some other things to corroborate her. I think some of the comments by the law enforcement agents saying, hey, we need more details, and you're going to help put them away and stuff like that. Those are just really bad choice of words. It makes it look like they're just fishing for anything and they don't care about the truth. But in the end, the jury is seeing it for what it is, that she's credible. She's the one that supplied drugs. She feels guilty about it. She has a conscience for it. And you're not seeing any of that from the defense side of it. What has the defense done to impeach her? All they have is the amount of drugs, what they thought the drugs were, and whether it's 3 or 4 times. That's all they got, really. So that's not a way to impeach a witness like this. So good day again. Good week for the prosecution through day 4, and hope to get to day 5 then tomorrow night, probably around 10 o'clock Central Time here, 11 o'clock Eastern. So y'all have a good Saturday night, Sunday morning, wherever you're at, and we'll maybe see you tomorrow night. Thanks. Have a good one.